Hi, my name is James Shepard. In this video, I'm going to help you understand the numbers game behind telemarketing leads and appointment scheduled leads. I started about 2 months ago now. I started our own CC Sales Pro lead generation program, partnering with, we have a US-based center, and then we also have several kind of international partners that we work with. And so we started providing leads to merchant services agents. Now, if you want to learn more about that program, just click the link below this video. But it kind of reminded me about some of these numbers games that go into appointment scheduled leads. And I think the first one is this idea of what I call the half and half rule, which is really crucial. As we're thinking about appointment scheduled leads, and you're going to contract with a telemarketer or a company like ours to generate leads for you or for your sales agents, you need to remember this half and half rule. And that is half of the appointments that you get scheduled are going to show up and the other half are not on that initial visit. That's a good general rule. Now, if you're in a more of a like a rural area, you'll notice that number can be 60-70% will show up. You'll get a contact there. If you're in a urban area, it might be 40 or 50%, right? So it's going to be somewhere in that range. But I say half is a good number to think about. Our own lead generation program, that's what we do, is we guarantee half of the people. In other words, half of the people that you walk into the business, you're on the first attempt, the business owner is going to be there and you're going to make contact with them. So that's the first half, but it's the half and half rule. So the other half is that once you get those contacts, then half of those contacts, you're going to be able to engage in a conversation with them. The other half, they're going to be upset that you came. And so when you think about your expectations with a telemarketing campaign, you don't want to look at that and say, well, that's not a good telemarketing campaign because I thought it was an appointment. No, what happens with telemarketing campaigns is that business owners get that kind of buyer's remorse. So they're on the phone, they say, okay, sure, they can come by at 2 o'clock, okay, and then they hang up, and then they're like, why did I do that? I don't want to meet with some salesperson at 2 o'clock, And then when the salesperson comes in, they're like, I don't want you to come, I told them not to come, and all of that. And so you're going to have that other half. So remember that half and half rule. So I'll give you a specific breakdown example here. With our lead generation program for merchant services going into the month of June, we're doing a dual pricing lead generation campaign. So we're generating leads for dual pricing. And the smallest package we have is 40 leads a month, which is about 2 leads per day. So every day you wake up, you got 1 to 3 leads, averaging 2. So you got about 2 leads a day, and that gets you up off the couch, which is really important. So you get out in the field, right? And it gets you in contact with these different businesses. Well, when you walk into these 40 businesses over that month, you would expect that only 20 of them you're going to make contact initially. You might do additional follow-up on the other 20 and get a few more. But that first visit, 20 out of the 40 you're going to get in contact with a decision maker. Then you would further expect that out of those 20 that you make contact with, only 10 of them are actually going to accept the information you're bringing and have a conversation with you. Now, out of those 10, how many do you sell? Well, it depends. If you're brand new, hopefully you're going to find at least one of those 10 who are not happy with their current provider, and you're going to help get them flipped by working with your manager. If you're more experienced, hopefully you're going to sell at least 2 or 3 of them, maybe more, right? So it depends on your level of skill. Some of you are so good that, of course, you would even sell one of the other 10 that initially is upset that you walked in, I used to do that all the time when I was selling appointment scheduled leads myself, I'd turn people around by saying, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that they set that appointment, and here I drove all the way out here. Well, let me just give you this anyway, and I would just jump right into the conversation. And so you can still sell some of those as well, right? But that's that half and half numbers game. Here's the other big part of the numbers game, and that is the approach that you use. Now, I will admit this was a challenge for me as well as we scaled this up and we have a huge, call centers and trying to do all of this. It's very challenging to get these leads that are the right balance of saying it's a good lead, but also we're able to get leads. If we call people and say, hey, we can save you money on payment processing, well, no one's going to agree to an appointment. So we have to be more creative than that. We have to give a good approach, but where we got to be careful is we don't want to be so creative with the approach that we get the appointment, but the appointment actually doesn't convert into a sale because when we walk in, the people don't want to talk to you about payment processing at all. So it was a really interesting thing. So what we did originally is we used an approach that was very direct. And it was like, boy, we just couldn't get any leads, So then we shifted gears and we did an approach that was more creative, where we went in and talked about the Visa MasterCard settlement. We had a pamphlet printed out that you would hand them about that, talk about that, and then convert. And what we found is only about 1/3 of our clients really found that approach to be effective for them. The rest had a hard time making that bridge. It was like they walked in to talk about one thing, but then they needed to talk about something else. right? So getting that right where you have the right amount of creativity, but also the directness of it is super important. So what we're doing starting in June, to give you an example of this, and maybe some of you could even use this with your own telemarketing resources, what we did in June is Visa and MasterCard recently rolled out some rule changes that I think are very important for businesses to understand. We also gotten to a point where we understand compliance a bit better as far as cash discounting and dual pricing and surcharging and all of that. You know, the surcharge cap would be an example of that. So we're making a pamphlet that talks specifically, like a printed pamphlet we're going to send to all of our clients. So they have a printed pamphlet for each lead that we set for them. And this pamphlet talks about these rule changes and just educates the customer on dual pricing, cash discounting, and surcharging, how to do it correctly, and how it can save their business money when they do it properly, right? And so we're giving that to all of our clients, and then in turn, they can go out, and when we set the lead, we're saying, hey, we have a local business advocate. They're going to come out. They're a local business person just like you. They want to come out and introduce themselves. It's a networking opportunity, and they have some free information to give you. I'm sure you've noticed all of these other companies locally that are charging a higher price for card versus cash. I don't know if you're doing a program like that, but we have a little pamphlet that will educate you on those programs, why they're important, why it's important to get it right if you're going to do it, and how it can save you money in the process. We'd like them to come by, shake your hand, say hello, and give you this pamphlet. So that's obviously not the exact script. It's much more carefully worded than that, but that is the gist of the concept, right? So now our clients are able to walk into these businesses. Hey, want to walk in? Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me. They introduce themselves. Here's the pamphlet that you agreed to. And then they can dive right into a conversation around, hey, are you doing one of these programs now, or have you thought about it? And they can just dive right into a conversation about dual pricing, cash discounting, or surcharging. And what we found from our client feedback is that that approach is what they like, where they can go in and have that direct approach. So here's the summary. Telemarketing leads in 2024 are hard to generate, okay? But you can absolutely still do it, but the key is we got to balance our creativity and our directness so that when we go in, we have an approach that does get us a high quantity of leads, but they have to be a high enough quality lead that they can convert into merchant services. I am super excited about what we're doing at CC Sales Pro, and if you would like to find out if your territory is available, you can click the link below this video to visit our page that talks all about the lead generation program that we're doing. Feel free to fill the form out and talk to our team if it looks like you'd be a good fit. We would love to talk to you. Even if you look at the map and your territory is already taken, go ahead and schedule the meeting, because we're always having people that you'll use it for a few months, then maybe they'll switch off and they'll use it again later on. So there is that, and you can get on that list of the waiting list for that territory. And then if it becomes available, our team can reach out and let you know, hey, we've got some leads available in your territory, so that you can take advantage of those. So if you want to get some good appointment scheduled leads, click the link below this video and check it out.